It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, March 12th. We are on the final end of the week. You guys did it. You did it with me. We got through it together. And I'm so glad that you're here because we've got a loaded, that's what she said, loaded show. Lots of dating stuff, lots of dating, relationship stuff. We're going to talk about this Jeremy Renner romance scam. And I have a story for you guys because I got hit up from someone who knows someone else who was a victim of this catfishing with Jeremy Renner. It's the craziest story. Then we are going to talk about Love is Blind. We're going to talk about Mormon wives, and I have like 6 other stories. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. It's been a weird day. Sad news in the world every day. I mean, it's like, it puts me in like a funk beyond. So I'm happy I'm here. I'm happy I can chat with you guys and get me and compartmentalize all the bad news, because here on Daily Dose of Donna, we try to just like tune out of the real world for an hour while we talk about the real world. Good luck to us. Welcome to the show. It's your Daily Dose of Donna. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. And I'm very hopeful that you're feeling safe and you're happy and you're healthy and the people in your life are around you, and that the sun is shining. I don't know what else to say about that. I need to focus. I've been watching the news all morning. I really am grateful for the show, which forces me to be like, stop watching the news, get off X, and focus on Nancy Guthrie. Or, anyone else, really. Just like get your mind out of the negative. So let's try to, put any kind of yucky news aside, and let's just try to enjoy this next hour talking about people that are not involved with us. Right? My mom always used to say when I was a kid, you are going to get in trouble because you always gossip. You're such a gossiper. And to that I say, and look where it's led me. I made a job from my love of gossiping. So it worked out for me, okay? So much to talk about. First of all, I want to go through some things that I talked about on my Instagram stories yesterday, and I'm really, really sorry, but it's now official. We've seen 3 episodes of Benny Blanco's podcast on Instagram, YouTube, whatever. The first one we saw his nasty ass, dirty feet, and he farted. The second one we saw Selena kissing his nasty ass, dirty feet. And then last night, or yesterday afternoon, I should say, one of you guys sent me a clip of his new episode that he just released. And let me just tell you something. I'm going to force you guys to go through it with me. It's with Ed Sheeran. Okay, with the Benny Blanco podcast, the deal is that it's him, one of his like besties, and another friend, or bestie's wife. I think that's who it is, okay? And it's done in a very sitcom-esque vibe. There's cameras all over, like robocams, and they just kind of follow them around the house, and they talk about all kinds of who knows what, about whatever. So we have to, I have to show this to you. And I'm going to tell you something. This is now feeling like a battle for how disgusting and unhygienic can people be. I had to watch this, so now you have to watch it because it was truly traumatizing, just absolutely traumatizing. Let's watch it together. This is with Ed Sheeran.
Smell his belly button.
No, really.
It's crazy. Chuck, get him to smell it.
He might throw up.
It's not gonna throw up. Let's
It's
not be
pretty.
Here you go.
Oh, I can't even watch. I'm ashamed.
Doesn't it smell? It's one of the worst smells I've ever smelled.
That's like a bumhole.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I don't understand why.
He's sick.
Gotta wash the hands. He's coughing. Look, I broke his body down.
You want to smell his belly button?
Okay.
Really not.
Okay. How in the world does a person allow their belly button to smell that bad? Is there a disease that we don't know about? What in the mother effing? This is a married man. This is a married man, and his belly button smells that bad. Go to a doctor. Is this a real thing? Is this? I've never smelled my belly button, but I can guarantee you it doesn't smell. Like, I just know it. And also, how do you figure that shit out? And how do you share it to the world? And how does his wife allow for it? If I knew that Lance's belly button smelled as bad as they're making it out to smell, that Ed Sheeran is like vomiting in his face, I literally don't think, I mean, I would make it like in the, I would put it on the ketubah basically in our wedding. I would say, my vows include you making sure your belly button smells okay. I don't even know how you figure it out, but like, oh my God. What is wrong with them? And how is this funny? This like gross college humor of like smells and farts. This is Selena Gomez's husband. She's so proud of him. Like, I just can't. Uh-oh, Robin said, don't go near Lance's belly button. Is it possible that even my husband has? Does anyone know how your husband's belly button smell? Like, how would you ever figure that out unless they're actively going in there and doing something with? Okay. I had to go through it, so did you. Now, the other day I had a rant about Love Story and how while so much of that show is unbelievable, like or is fantasy land and make believe and whatever, one thing that really stops me in my tracks is the morning breath scenes. And this goes for really honestly every TV show I watch, every movie I watch. When you wake up and the first thing your partner does is like, come over here, let's make out. I just immediately am taken out of the show because it's my immediate say like, oh, this is not realistic. We're not in realism. So I can't handle anything about, morning breath. Like, I just can't wrap my brain around it. And I know there's sickos out there. Some of you guys are probably sickos that like to smell belly buttons and kiss someone open mouth with morning breath, but that's sick. Okay. That's a sick thing to do. And I would say I am more of the norm and you guys are maybe more of the weirdos. Okay. That being said, and last night I was at my kid's school for a school performance. And two people came up to me and they were like, your rant about morning breath on Love Story was everything. Like, it's a very important thing. And someone else actually also agrees with this, and that's Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman was on that show, Culturistas, with Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang. And she was talking, she has a new show. Apparently it's very good. It's Nicole Kidman and Jamie Lee Curtis. Can't remember what the name is, but I just saw, I think it's on Apple TV. I want to say. Anyway, Nicole Kidman looks fabulous. Like, her divorce has done her well. She looks so gorgeous. But she talked about something that I think you guys would all probably understand. If you're like me and you have that same kind of feeling about breath. Okay, so here. This is her talking about making out with Alexander Skarsgård, who you know is like a hottie.
I think so, honey, if you have bad breath. I cannot stand bad breath. I mean, this is a deal breaker for me.
Mhm.
Like, you could be the most gorgeous, gorgeous guy, and you come at me with bad breath, and I'm like, no.
It's off.
Right? It's like if I say, breathe on me, and I have to recoil, yikes, I'm out. I am out. You could not offer me enough money.
30 seconds.
And so, therefore, when Alexander Skarsgård ate a falafel sandwich before we did the scenes in Big Little Lies, I'm like, no, 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 Alex. I'm meant to be kissing you and into you. Put
15
away the falafel now. Right?
Put away the falafel now. I don't think it's that big of a deal if it's like something they just ate, like they happen to just be eating a dinner. It's more of like an overarching issue. Okay. I get it. Like I'm seeing your comments. Like we're all the same. I'm just saying what you guys feel. Another thing, and I wish I had a reel to back me up here, is sounds. Okay. Just general sounds. I'm definitely like perimenopausal because everything annoys me. You know what I'm talking about? I can hear Lance eating chips across our house with doors closed in between. If someone's chewing gum loudly around me, even like I can manage it with my kids, but my kids are even getting to me now. As they're getting older, I'm like, what is that? What is that? Why are you eating cereal like that? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to other conversations. Thank you so much for being there with me while I go through my anxieties about people, just general people. Hygiene, smells, sounds. Just sit, be pretty, and smell good. And be quiet. This show is brought to you by Lola Blankets. If you guys remember, Lola Blankets are my favorite blankets. They are the most beautiful blankets. And I made a decision I'm going to buy another one because I'm getting a little sick of like the one argument in my house in the mornings. So we're getting ourselves a new Lola blanket. You guys are going to have to help me figure out which one to get. A Lola blanket is so beautiful because it is faux fur, luxury faux fur, ultra soft, signature 4-way stretch. It sets it apart. It's the world's #1 blanket because it's machine washable, double hemmed for durability, and it stays flawless, no pilling, no shedding, even after repeated washes. And one Lola instantly elevates your space, and I love an elevated space. Okay. It's unbelievably soft, beautifully designed, and it makes your home feel cozy and curated. For a limited time, our listeners can get 40% off select Lola blankets with code Daily Dose at checkout. Just head to lolablankets.com and use code Daily Dose to get 40% off your order. They're going to ask you where you found it, and you're going to say, oh my gosh, Daily Dose of Donna, duh. So it's the best. Yes, Amy says, I received one as a gift. Love that blanket. Okay, you guys are all with me on the sounds. I'm glad we're here together. Thank you so much for the, they say you find your people. I found my people. Thank you, dosers. Okay. Our first story is the leading story, and it's Jeremy Renner's scam. This is a crazy story that I could not believe was real when I read it on my, I created like a TikTok reel yesterday about it, and I just could not believe this was real. And this is real. Now, if you're wondering if Jeremy Renner has been like in the news a little bit lately with some scandals, it's because he was. He had this woman named, what was her name? Her name was Yi Zhao, I want to say. Yi Zhao. We talked about this. This happened in late 2025. This woman, Yi Zhao, Yi Zhou, Zhou. I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. But she had accused Renner of sending her unsolicited, explicit photos and messages after they connected professionally while working on a documentary project together. She claims that they had a romantic and professional relationship that later went sour. He has denied all allegations, et cetera, et cetera. That was at the end of 2025. But now we have a new story, and that is how Jeremy Renner is accused of scamming a woman into a romantic relationship and giving him thousands of dollars as he fights ridiculous lawsuit. Okay. You won't believe how crazy this story is. There's a woman. Her name is Marnie Reeves. Marnie Reeves is fresh out of a 20-year marriage. She's a new divorcee. Okay. I'm going to show you a picture of her just so you kind of have an idea of what she looks like. Not that that changes the story, but sometimes I like a little visual with my stories. Okay. So Jeremy Renner obviously has Instagram and he posts on his Instagram every once in a while and it's no big deal. Let's see Jeremy Renner's Instagram right now. He's a good looking guy. Listen, I hate to say it, but a lot of people think that Jeremy Renner and Lance have a little similarity, but Jeremy's, I think, a short guy and Lance is 6'2". So Jeremy Renner has 19.9 million followers on his Instagram. I mean, he's a good looking guy. Listen, he's an actor and he's doing his thing and he almost died with that horrible snowplow incident. And now he's okay. But he's not okay because this woman, Marnie Reeves, just casually one day decided that she was going to like his picture in April 2023. He was recovering at the time from the snowplow accident. Right then, right after she liked it, she seemingly receives a DM from another account. Okay. Problem number one is she gets an account, another DM from another account that has nothing to do with Jeremy Renner, but claims that it's Jeremy Renner. This person, we'll call him Jeremy Renner, okay, basically sends her a DM and starts chatting with her. Now, Marnie went to high school with Jeremy Renner. So she felt some sort of connection with him. And I don't know if this person that was sending her these unverified DMs, if this person is, saying like, oh, I remember you from high school. Maybe she said, I remember you from high school. So then he all of a sudden felt like this kind of, more of an in or whatever. So she starts DMing with this unverified account who claims that it is Jeremy Renner. She says, since then, she is scammed out of $23,450 and hundreds more in legal fees. And now she is suing Jeremy Renner for fraud. Okay. She says, I have been mentally sick and could not eat for a year. I lost my hair and dignity and my self-worth. I just came out of a 20-year abusive marriage just to get connected to Jeremy Renner. But Jeremy Renner is adamantly denying ever speaking to this woman. And he claims she was duped by an internet scammer using his name for monetary gain. Okay. So his lawyers, Marty Singer, say this case is not about anything defendant Jeremy Renner did. Like it's nothing more than a frivolous litigation premised entirely on the plaintiff's self-generated belief that she was in a romantic relationship with defendant, a belief that has no basis in fact. Now, even so, this woman, Marnie Reeves, is not backing down. She believes it really still was him. And she says that he allegedly conspired with his relatives to help him defraud her. Because she says that after she liked his original post, she started engaging with this man who says that he was Jeremy Renner. And she says many may have dismissed it as a catfish situation because he wasn't even on a verified account, but she is not. She says that after the first message, she then connected with who she thought was Renner's mother, a woman named Valerie Surley, on Instagram. They allegedly start chatting over their hometown of Modesto, talking about growing up in the same city. And she says that the mom gave her Jeremy Renner's number. She said, I'm sure he's going to be happy a classmate would like to talk to him, is what this Marnie said. Jeremy Renner's mom said. But in the meantime, that person who Jeremy Renner's mom was is no longer on social media. Okay. So Jeremy Renner's mom has left social media, the fake mom. She gets the phone number of fake Jeremy Renner, and then she starts speaking to him via WhatsApp every day for hours from April to August 2023. Are you guys at all seeing any of the red flags in this story yet? Because this is the most insane story. But she continues to talk to him because she's convinced that she's having conversations with him. And then early on, while they're talking, she starts receiving messages about payments from another person using a moniker Lassie Larson, who she believed was part of Renner's management team. And these messages implored her to buy a fan card, okay, in order to keep communicating with her guy, Jeremy Renner. If you want to keep talking to Jeremy Renner, that's fine, but you have to pay a certain amount of money for a fan card. Now, in this fan card, there's a bunch of different options, right? You can get a normal package for $1,100, a VIP silver ticket for $3,850, a VIP gold ticket for $5,800, and a VIP diamond ticket for $11,000. So what did she do? She's like, I'll go for the $1,100 one, because she felt that the only way she could like speak to him and talk to him on the phone was paying this money. And she wanted to, because this was her man. Now, in these emails and text messages from this Lassie Larson person who's asking for money, they're calling her madam. They're spelling things wrong. So many grammatical errors. And she literally is like, I'll just like forget that happened. She starts paying the money. And then she speaks with Renner via Google Chat while he was allegedly driving. Jeremy Renner's like, that never happened. But she's like, he didn't look me directly in the face because he was driving, but I knew it was him. So that's the only phone call I ever got from him, she says. And even though she hadn't seen him as much as she liked, she believed that they were developing a strong romantic and sexual bond virtually. She says, I have pictures of his genitals, and he has video of me that he threatens me with, she's claimed. Now, one affectionate message submitted into evidence reads, Marnie, notifications from you is like music to my ears. Want to always see you pop up on my screen. But my love, above all, want to really touch and feel you and kiss you. I want to whisper, spelled wrong, how much love you in your ears while hugging you with my arms round your waist. Excuse me, what? She says, I let him back into my life like a stupid woman where he proceeded to get more money from me. He really brainwashed me, convinced me that he was coming. I waited all night for him in December because I had to pick him up at Sacramento Airport, and he never came. Y'all, after a year, she lost $24,000 in what she now calls a romance scam. Okay? So, of course, Jeremy Renner is saying, listen, she sent money to these unknown third parties who exploited her by dangling opportunities to meet me. I have no involvement with them. I didn't solicit them. I've never had any relationship with this woman. I don't know this woman. Now, they asked this woman, what do you think Jeremy Renner's motive would be to do this? Like, this guy's worth $80 million. And she goes, I don't know, control sexual stuff. She thinks it was all, let's just see what I can get out of these girls. Let them love me. He's an attention grammer. He love bombs them. Okay. So it goes on to say that Jeremy Renner is like, this is absolutely wild. The lawyers told the court that she's basically just using websites like Truth Finder and all of this. Like, she's going this weird, strange way to kind of find ChatGPT, Meta AI, chasing down all these new names, down rabbit holes. She's digital fishing and stitching together whatever appears to be a fabricated story. They're saying it's complete bullshit. And meanwhile, for more than 5 years, Jeremy Renner and a Crime Stoppers group have said that Jeremy Renner seems to be at the head of these like different romance scams. Please be aware, women, if Jeremy Renner messages you, it ain't him unless he's messaging you from his original official account. He's not asking for money. He's not asking for photos. He's not asking for anything. Okay. Scammers want money. He even said last year on his Facebook account, be careful. I'll never ask for money. Okay. She says that if Jeremy Renner really isn't behind the scam, then she doesn't understand why he has not taken his own legal action to prosecute these perpetrators. If Jeremy was not involved with this, she says, I've given him so much information. Why won't he involve the FBI and law enforcement to let's get these people rather than just denying? Okay. So this is the story. When I first read it yesterday, I thought to myself, come on. Haven't we all seen catfish? Haven't we all seen sister wives. Haven't we all seen Tinder Swindler? Don't we understand that this is an epidemic? Like, this is actually a scam. And for some reason, these young, smart people are getting scammed into it. And then you can think to yourself, they're not smart. They're clearly these like ignorant women. They have no idea. They've never been loved. And then I got a text this morning. From a girlfriend that I've known since high school. Okay. Because my sister and her went to college together. And her best friend's sister sends me a text. She's like, Donna, you need to talk to this one girl because she has a friend who also got scammed by Jeremy Renner. Okay. So this is what the text says. She goes, it's a doozy. The Cliff Notes version is a very wealthy single Newport Beach mom commented on an Instagram post of his. Very wealthy. Keep this in mind, okay? Which led to side texting on WhatsApp for almost a year. Among other things, she paid for his plane to come get her at John Wayne Airport for a holding fee for him to land. And then she paid for insurance for her travels so they could travel the world together. And of course, something came up, so he couldn't come. And she was so upset. But then she forgave him and did it all over again. They sexted for months and months. There were contracts sent to her from his management company for fees, which she paid. The screenshot of text would make your stomach turn, this says. Her family and I could not get through to her. She basically cut us all off for that period of time because she was all consumed and we weren't supporting their relationship. She thought she was the chosen one, and all those scams we showed her online that happened to everyone else and not her. Theirs was true love. It got so far that he asked her to marry her and she said yes. She spent over $20,000, likely much more. She goes, it's insane. He even posted something that there was a scam going on and that he was not involved, and she still didn't believe it. I'm asking, how did it end? You guys, it's really sad. It's really sad, A, that you would fall for it, and B, that like there's women out there that are so kind of conditioned to be so, I guess, complimented by someone giving them attention that they're willing to overlook any sort of normalcy or, you know, I would say like common sense when it comes to these stories. All I know is that I've heard this happen to like older people. I've heard it happen to women that are, you know, definitely in the older like end, but I've never heard it happen to people in like their 30s, 40s. You know, I can see this happening to like maybe a widow in her 70s, late 70s, doesn't really understand the way like social media can like F you. I just cannot believe that this actually happens to people. So if you are listening to the show, if you're watching the show and a celebrity or truly any man comes to you and tries to solicit you for money to continue a relationship, that is where you draw that line, because that makes you like a virtual prostitute. It doesn't work. You can't do it. You cannot do it. Okay. Yeah, elderly, exactly. Jordan says elderly and young people I understand, but not middle-aged. Like were raised with the internet. I know young people are getting so effed left and right with there's something called sex. What is it called? It's like sextortion. That is a big story. Remember when Chris Hansen was on my show and we talked about that, where young men, specifically men, and I don't understand how men are getting more into this than, or getting like becoming I don't know if men are more just like vulnerable when it comes to hot girls. I shouldn't say men, boys. When girls kind of reach out to boys online, they meet them on Instagram or wherever they meet, Snapchat, they start having these conversations. There are these like gorgeous girls and they start getting these boys thinking that they think they're hot and, you know, send pictures back and forth. So they're sending fake nudes and they're asking these boys to send pictures of them. And these are under 18 boys. And then they take those pictures and they say, if you don't send me a certain amount of money, I'm showing this picture to the entire school. I'm sending it out to your parents. I'm going to send it to your principal. I'll send it out to your coach, whatever. And these kids are panicked into thinking that their lives will be ruined because now all of a sudden a picture of their body part, it will be out in the world, and they will literally do awful things, like they will, many times commit suicide. It is absolutely horrendous. So if you are a mom of a boy, this is what I've done already, is I've had conversations with my kids about this, because I think it's really important that even at this young age, they can know that people aren't exactly who they say online. If you ever send a picture, which you shouldn't, but if you ever do and someone threatens to report it, you come to me. I won't care. I just want to make sure that you're safe. So like, that's something that I have a conversation with my kids. But I just can't imagine having a best friend in her 40s or 30s or whatever and being like, that's not Jeremy Renner. And she's like, no, 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 no. It is. Like, Jeremy Renner and I are in love. I would be so incredibly worried if that was my friend. I would like actually want to take them in for some sort of evaluation, maybe. Yeah, you guys are all saying that some of your kids have experienced it. It happens to young girls too. Really, really scary. Okay. Let's move on to another story. But hold on, I want to get my Olipop, because Olipop is sponsoring Daily Dose of Donna. I forgot to bring it to my desk, but I got my Olipop right here. And if you guys remember the Olipop, you can get a free Olipop. Yeah, you. Okay, so I want you guys to listen to this on a hot summer day, spring day. You guys, it's so good. And I have to hide them, I've told you, for my kids now, because they'll steal it from me. Olipop is a new kind of soda that combines the classic soda taste with the benefits of a functional ingredient blend to support digestive health. Olipop is reimagining soda with high fiber and low sugar. Yep, in each can, you're going to get, God, I'm so blind. In each can, you're going to get 4 grams of sugar only and 6 grams of dietary fiber. Okay, it's got everything, and it's made from all the healthiest ingredients, and especially the fact that it is good for your digestion. And 2 out of 3 of Americans say they suffer from digestive issues. 95% of Americans don't get the daily recommended amount of fiber. So Olipop is doing them both, okay? Olipop is my pick-me-up every time I'm feeling a little bland. And it also is kind of like a little bit of a dessert drink because it's super yummy and sweet. Okay, get a free can of Olipop by buying any 2 cans of Olipop in the store. You can go to Amazon, or you can go to a real life store, which is Whole Foods, Target, Costco, Walmart, wherever. If you buy 2 and then upload your receipt to drinkolipop.com/Donna, that's DANA, they're going to send you over some money. Okay. So go to drinkolipop.com/Donna, DANA, and you can use any flavor of Olipop. Oh my gosh, Laura's back. She's healthy now. I don't know if she's healthy, but she's back. She's back to modding. Zach and I sent her some Vietnamese yummy dinner the other night, some pho. I hope you enjoyed your pho. When I'm sick, I want either chicken noodle soup from like the best Jewish deli. There's nothing better than, Jewish penicillin. Or I love a good, really, really warm, hot, spicy, limey bowl of pho. That's PHO. So good. Okay. Olipop is my son's nickname, Jordan. Yes, I've been calling Oliver Olipop since he was a baby. And then I call him Poppers, which isn't Poppers like a drug? I go Poppers. Okay. I'm glad you enjoyed it, honey. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, let's move on and talk about this Mormon wife's divorce. So I am not shocked by this at all, because I'm going to be honest. Remember, we talked this week is about relationships. This whole week on Daily Dose of Donna is about marriages and relationships. When I talked to you guys the other day and I called Lance, okay, I'm going to ask the class. When I called Lance the other day and I said, what makes for a healthy marriage? His response was, this is your Jeopardy moment. Please put it in the comments. Please put it in the comments. Robin says poppers are a gay thing. Okay. Or they're an Indian snack. Micah says poppers are an Indian snack. I don't think I've ever had a popper, but I love Indian food. All right, you guys, any answers? Oh, we got it. We got it. Patty was first. SEX. Okay, listen. I am not going to say that it is the only important thing in a relationship. It absolutely is not. But if you have a husband like mine, it is somewhat of a foundational issue, which I find like it to be a little bit of a trickle down situation. Like if you think about like a pyramid, right? If that's taken care of, a lot of other things get taken care of. It's like it, you know how they say like water a cup so then it flows out. Okay. This is just the truth. I'm just being honest. Now, I was gonna say, oh my gosh, did someone say Lance was here? I was like nervous. I was like, I don't want to have to leave work early. Okay, anyway, so back to the story. Michaela from Mormon Wives is going through a divorce, and we're about to come on to season 3. I think it's season 4. These seasons go real fast. We're about to go to season 4 of Mormon Wives. And now they're really, I think it starts maybe this week, next week, like very soon. And now everyone is very, I think they're starting to release like little teasers of things that are happening. So that's why this article has been released on People Magazine. If you guys don't remember who Michaela is, because I know I'm like you, a lot of them, they just look the same. Michaela is this one. So this is Michaela and her husband, or former, I should say, Jace Terry. Now, they are split, and I don't know if they are actually going to get a divorce or they're just split. But right now, she's saying that they're taking time apart because she has ongoing struggles with intimacy stemming from being sexually abused during her childhood. And it's been a big part of the show. During the last season, we had a lot of conversations about the fact that she really struggles to feel intimate. I think she struggles with insecurity. I think she has a little bit of a damaged idea of, or like view of sex, and how sex in a happy relationship is a positive thing. Whereas, she may, and I would imagine this is something that a lot of people struggle with when they have childhood abuse. And she equates it with not enjoyable, not pleasurable. So she was incredibly open with it last season. And in fact, they started to get into like some fights because they all went to, it wasn't Coachella. What's the other one? Stagecoach. They went to Stagecoach Festival down in Palm Springs, which is a country music festival. And they were all staying in a really huge house in Palm Springs. And this was kind of at the prime of their issues. And she was not happy with him because he was drinking too much, because he said he was not happy with her because he wasn't getting intimate. And then one night the two of them went into the hot tub to like try to have intimacy in the jacuzzi, and they just were not able to. Like, I understand the camera was there. I'm like, you probably shouldn't be trying to be intimate for the first time when you're uncomfortable with it, when there's a camera in your face. But clearly she was not feeling comfortable with him physically, and he was not happy about that. And you know what? I hate to say it. There's only so much you can handle when you're in a relationship that is not meeting your needs. And I have a feeling that they probably never had sex other than to reproduce. It doesn't feel like they were trying or working on it. And I think that that's probably what we'll continue to see this season. She says, I didn't mean to share that. She says that last season we dove into the beginning stages, and that was me revisiting all the trauma for the first time. It's still new to me. It's new to him, and we're just navigating the best way we can. But it's something that's going to take a lot more time. I feel like that's all I can say it on now. That was what she said last season. But she also says that they have been to several therapy sessions, and she admits in a conversation with Whitney, her co-star, that it's been hard to focus because she also struggles from these chronic skin flare-ups. And I don't know if you remember about that. Her skin, her face and her body, like they get very high-y and dry. And so she struggles with a lot of chronic illness as well. He confides in several of his friends and he's like, I'm not cool. I'm not cool with it. I'm not okay with it. Me throwing fits about it all the time and getting upset doesn't help anything. So I just feel like the only thing I can do is to be patient and be there for her. But then they decided to separate and they discussed that she wants to work on herself, separate from her responsibilities as a wife. And he shares frustration that she'll just never commit to trauma therapy. So it's a little bit a problem for both. I mean, if she doesn't want to go to therapy and fix the problem, and he's very open about the fact that I'm struggling with the fact that you and I do not connect in this way, I get it. On both sides, by the way. If I had a major problem with something Lance was doing, and it was because he was, he struggled with something very traumatic as a child and he could not get over it unless he really started to do the work, and he wasn't doing the work. After a certain time, you start to say, wait, like my happiness is important too. And my husband is not fulfilling that, a very, very important part of happiness for me. So I feel bad for her that she's going through it, but also if you're not putting in the work to get better, then unfortunately, like there's consequences, It makes sense. It makes sense. And I don't think he should have to stick around in a sexless marriage forever because then he's going to just cheat. I would imagine at some point, right? Okay. Megan says, I have friends in the Mormon culture that marry young, split, and come back together later in life. The church element is hard in this area. I can see that. I think a lot of Mormon families or women that were raised in that kind of culture are they're like very disattached to sex, or they look at sex in a very negative way. And I mean, I can see that. There's a big stigma around it. Yeah. There's a big stigma around sex and coffee, which I still don't get that one. I still cannot understand the coffee issue, but then they can drink Coke. Like none of it makes sense. Jordan wants to talk about Ballerina Farm. What, the fact that she just had her 9th kid? I like Ballerina Farm, though. I don't have as many issues with other people do with Ballerina Farm. She, to me, is like, I feel like I'm watching a TV show when I watch her. She's so not realistic for my life at all. But I love her protein powder. Ballerina Farm's protein powder is some of the best protein powder on the market. So I can't knock them because I like the protein powder. But yeah, I was kind of in shock when I found out she was having a 9th kid. They are literally building an entire school there. But they have a lot of work to be done on that farm. So who knows? Yeah, we can talk about a ballerina. We should do like a Ballerina Farm Patreon where you can really get into that. Okay, so there's that. You guys, we have to talk about Love is Blind. Oh, no, before I want to talk about Love is Blind, but there's so many other stories I want to talk about. Let me leave Love is Blind towards the end in case anyone hasn't watched it yet. Let's talk about Scott Wolf opens up about reuniting with Kelly Wolf. And I've got all my Scott Wolf and Kelly Wolf fans here. So let's talk about it right now. Okay. Scott Wolf explained to People magazine, he addressed their reunion. Remember, a couple weeks ago, we were just all so shocked and excited to see that the two of them were back together with their entire family at Universal Studios. And I think that was a very lovely moment. And he says, her family deserved to have things not sit in some dark place, is what he told People magazine. This happened on February 20th when they went to Universal. And at that day, Scott released a statement to People saying his family's healing, and now he's sharing insight. He said, while I would never have wanted anything to have been made public, I guess it just felt like our family deserved to have things not just sit in some kind of dark, awful place in terms of perception. While the work we're all doing is really the only thing that really matters, it had been made public. While it's impossible to go into any real detail about much of any of it, I love all of those 4 people, and all of those 4 people love each other. So that's what really matters most. And he was talking, of course, about his show, and that's why he had a People magazine article. But they said, how do you define success in this chapter of your career? And he said, it's always been feeding my children. I've only had 2 real goals for myself. Uh, and that's being the first being finding a balance between family and professional lives. He says, I knew that was going to be important for me. So one goal was trying to keep myself in a place where I could always make choices based on the things that I wanted to do, not because my kids needed braces or something. That's a huge luxury. His second goal was making sure he'd get better every time he took a job. Those 2 goals continue to drive him. It's like, what's going to pull me out of the house with my kids? It's got to be something worthwhile. So success is being part of a great team, being in service of telling a great story that might matter to people. I think some of the shift is that there are no real benchmarks anymore. Success isn't measured anymore by anybody else's perception of me or where I arrive or don't arrive or what medium I'm working in. It's all, did I stretch myself and try to get a little better? That's a success. Honestly, I really do think Scott Wolf is one of the nicest guys. He also says that he's planning to take his kids to the doc set, that's his show, to see him in action soon. He says, I'm bringing my oldest back with me the next trip as we wind down season 2. They've all had a chance to be on set at various points here and there. They've all done the marker or the slate, which is the rite of passage for any visiting kid. But I love having the chance to have them come around, especially in an environment like this one, where everyone's just so great and so talented. And that is that. Honestly, he's such a forgiving, great guy. Like, truly, what a great guy. Go Scott. I've always rooted for him. Is there any other story that I want to share before? Let's just get into Love is Blind, because Love is Blind was so wild last night, you guys. Who watched the Love is Blind reunion? If you don't watch it right in the moment, like day of, I don't know what to tell you. I am so sorry. But I have to say, where do I start? I've never seen a cheesier show. Okay. There is whoever edits, I wouldn't say the edit. Yeah, the edit, the director, whoever is directing or editing this Love is Blind reunion show every single season wins an Emmy for the cheesiest reality reunion I've ever seen on any TV. Like, it is so incredibly wild. I even posted about it on my Instagram stories because I couldn't believe, I didn't understand what was happening when I first opened it up. And I saw all these people in the audience dancing, and I was so confused. I was like, what are we actually watching here? I'm going to show you guys just a little clip of the opening of it. Now, we find out that most of the people in the audience are former Love is Blind contestants. Some married, some dating, some just friends. But this is what they were doing at the beginning of the show. I thought I was so uncomfortable. What is happening? What is up with the dancing? Come on. The reactions that they kept cutting to of the people in the audience made me want to crawl under my pillow. Like, I was so uncomfortable. Nick and Vanessa were the least of the issues on this one. For me, it was the audience people. Whoa, ooh. Yeah. What were we watching? I was like, is this what, when my kid's like, Mom, you're embarrassing me? Is this what it feels like? That's what I felt like I was watching. And then at the beginning, I mean, there was one girl at the very beginning, and I don't even know who it is, but I feel like we need to do a deep dive. And she's in the front row, and she's like this. I was like, are they at a rave? Are they at a rave that we didn't get invited to? What is happening? I just wanted to know what was the drama between the couples. I didn't realize we were watching, lamepeopledance.com. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no one did the sprinkler. I'm pissed. If you're ever going to go on Love is Blind, at least do the sprinkler. Jeez. Okay. So back to the show. We have the wildest group of couples. We have one incredibly happy, normalized, perfect couple, Vic and Christina, and I'm going to spend the least amount of time on them, even though they did get a lot of segments, because they're just so perfect and happy and boring. Okay? Love them, adorable, so happy for them. Off to the races. Where do I even start? Where did they start? I feel like they started with, I'll go through like some boring couples. So then we have Mike and Emma, I want to say, and she's the one that had I should pull up, I wonder if Bachelor Fantake did a thing for the reunion so I can just at least show you images. Come on, Bachelor Fantake. Don't let me down now. Hold on. They don't have a reunion one? This is not good. Maybe it's because I don't know why. Okay, that's a bummer because I wanted to show you pictures. But the point is that we have the girl, I think her name is, I'm going to say everything wrong. So by the way, I don't get anyone's names right. And by the way, when they were showing people in the audience from former seasons, I had no idea who these people were. I mean, it's like one of those things where you see someone, you're like, did I go to high school with you or did I see you on TV? Do you work at my local Starbucks or did you have a reality show? Like I cannot remember any of these people at all. But then they go to, okay, the girl she has the big arm scar. Emma, I want to say, I'm going to get it wrong. She and Mike, his name may not be Mike, okay? It was whoever she ended up on the altar with. They had a little snafu about whether or not they want to have kids or not. He didn't want to marry her because he didn't want her to have made that decision. So, briefly she wasn't even sure about having kids. She said yes, he said no. So we went through them a little bit and they decided she's working on herself. She's happy and he's dating someone else. Okay, cool. Then let's move down to Breezy and Connor. This was shocking. Yes, it was Emma and Mike. Thank you. Breezy and Connor. I'll see if I can find a picture just so you guys get an idea. Bree. Her name is Bree. When I tell you, I was shocked that they're still together. Was anyone else here quite upset, actually, for Connor? So this is an article about them in yesterday's Us Weekly. Love is Blind's Bree and Connor are back together after calling off their wedding. Can I tell you how disappointed I was that these two are back together? Bree left the relationship at the end by basically talking down to him, saying the way you dress, the car you drive, it's not presenting like the way I want you to. She talked down to him like you talk down to your young son. She demasculated him so much throughout the season. At least the edit made it look like it. And then she also was flirty schmurty with Chris, the little elf man that we'll get to in just a moment, throughout the show. We saw them flirting. Remember, she had like a little love triangle between Chris and her. We saw her flirting when they were in Cabo still. And then we saw her flirting even when he was like a hammered, drunk mess at the bar when they had like a mixer. Even though he was boys with Connor, he didn't care. He was like, can I get Bree? And she kind of allowed for it. So I was not down for this at all. Okay. When they broke up, they didn't break up. At the end of this show, she says, I'm not ready to walk down the aisle with you. He bawled. And then she said, but I'm not sure. Are you the one for me or are you just trying to teach me a lesson? What the Well, I guess she decided he's the one for her because they're still together. They come out there. They finally discuss. She's like, he's my man. He's my man. Oh, yeah, he's my man. I love him. He didn't say a word last night. I was watching this with Dylan, my 13-year-old, and my 13-year-old was like, why is she the only one talking? Why is he not talking? Because I truly think he doesn't have a voice in that relationship whatsoever. She runs the shit the entire way, and I hate it. I hate it for him. Just saying. I just don't like her energy. She gives me sus energy. Okay. Let's talk about Jess and Chris, because I thought Jess and Chris were going to be like the big story on the show. You know, the big drama was going to be about them. Here is a picture of them from People magazine, just so you have an idea of who they are. He seemed like such a good guy when they were in Cabo. He was so cute, so sweet. They were so loving. They came home. They seemed so perfect. And then all of a sudden, he totally turned on her, right? He was like, you don't do Pilates. I want someone that works out every day. I'm not attracted to you. Okay. She's a doctor and she's beautiful. Anyway, they end up breaking up. And he does it in such a piece of shit way on the show. And then, of course, starts flirting with other girls on the show. So there was a whole segment where they went after him. And let me just tell you, I can't stand Chris. So I didn't really mind it. But I did see some comments online that people felt that he was like truly, honestly getting bullied on that stage because everyone was going after him. And Nick Lachey says to him, Chris, you managed to do something that no one has ever done on any season of Love is Blind before. You managed to piss off both the women and all the men. And I thought to myself, really? No one else has done that? I'm sure they have. They really went in on Chris. I actually felt really bad for a second, but then I realized he's a dick, right? And he didn't really do anything to try to make up for it. He was like, yeah, sorry, I felt that way. Cool. Yeah, I'm working on myself. Like, he got beat into submission. And don't even welcome Ellen Nicole. She says, it's my first time seeing your show live. Welcome. He told everyone that sex with her was horrible. Oh no, that's awful. Yes. Okay. So we did like a whole segment on how horrible Chris was. But then we find out that Jess has actually moved on with another guy. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't want to be mean. I really don't. So maybe I should just stop talking. But the guy that she's with seems really sweet. Seems like a really good guy. Seems like a really nice person. Very loving towards Jess. He was in the audience. He got a mic. But honestly, when I tell you, I was kind of surprised by it. I was like, well, I thought he was like a comedian in the corner of the audience. Like he just had like a very goofy look, but whatever. She's very happy. Okay. Not going to judge. Love is blind. So she's moved on. Next, speaking of attacking Chris, we had, in my opinion, the two most unhinged. Well, I should say one of the most unhinged people on the show. And that's Amber and Jordan. To say, I honestly had no idea any of this was coming because I have not been seeing any blinds or any reveals or anything like that. Amber and Jordan ended up getting married at the end of the show, okay? Amber and Jordan, she was the one that looked a lot older than her age. And he, he was like very sweaty. Do you know what I mean? Like he was just he was just sweaty a lot. He did not feel comfortable getting married to her. I have no idea why in the world they ended up getting married. Honestly, it didn't make any sense. I felt like, hold on, there you go. That's Amber and Jordan. He was sweating buckets. He was nervous to do it. She has a 10-year-old daughter. He wasn't sure if he wanted to be a stepfather. He didn't want to drive. They lived in different cities and he didn't want to leave where he lived. But more than that, she was clearly, the show itself did not show this, but what happened last night was quite possibly the craziest thing ever. Number one, I'm going to say what you guys were all thinking, which is Amber's lips. Okay. I don't know what in the world happened, but Amber got some sort of lip situation done. And it was really odd. From her before and then to her after, it's really, we need to work on this, you guys. I don't know what it was, but it was all I could see was how different Amber's face looked. And here's a before and after. Okay. So this is on the left, obviously, that's just a close-up of her. It's her lips. And then the one on the right is a close-up of her. It is the craziest, most like insane transformation, but not good. Normally people fill their lips. So I don't know what happened here, but she was stuck in the scowl the entire time. Oh my gosh. It was hard to watch. So we find out that they were married for 4 months. Okay. 4 months. That's it. I'm surprised it lasted that long. And basically, it comes down to the fact that she says he was not ready to live with me. He would just come up on the weekends, or he wanted me to come up on the weekends. He just wanted like to live a very kind of single life and then have a wife on the weekends. And she was not ready for that at all. She wanted, her husband to live with her. Makes a lot of sense, actually. But then his side of the story is she was constantly mad at me. She was constantly starting fights. She hates men, which she actually very much admits on the show. She hates men, and she, was very anxious about him, very jealous, very insecure. And also he mentioned that he took her to many weddings in the beginning of their marriage because all of his friends, I guess, were getting married. And she at one point got so blacked out, wasted, that she embarrassed him. She fell asleep at the table and he had to put her in a car and the whole thing. So it was bad all around. Okay. It was bad all around. He said that she embarrassed him in front of all of his friends. She said that he was not a good husband to her. I think both make sense. But she had a moment where she reacted because she was talking about her daughter. And this is the problem. You cannot go on Love is Blind if you have a young kid. I just don't think it works. Okay? It's too risky when you have a young kid. The Bachelor is bad enough, but Love is Blind is so short. The amount of time is so short to get married, not just engaged, this short, that I just don't think it makes sense. So she had this daughter who was not a toddler. Okay, this is a human being that's going to have memories of this time. And he met her one time before getting married. So she gets so upset. She goes, "You never even said goodbye to her when we broke up." He met her probably 3 times in their entire relationship. Like, it doesn't seem like he even knew the daughter that well. Wouldn't that be more traumatizing to have a sit down and be like, I'm going to miss you, but your mom and I are broken up. And she's like, "Wait, what's your name again?" Like, I just can't even imagine it. My mom had a lot of boyfriends when I was growing up before she met my stepdad. And I remember feeling like I didn't know who was coming over. Like, she was like rotating a few. "Sorry, mom, I'm just throwing you out there. Like, you were a young, hot, single mom." And she was dating a bunch of guys for a little bit, and they would come and pick her up and whatever. And I didn't know who was coming and coming out. And I remember one time I was doing like a banner because they were coming back from Israel, and I was so excited. And I put the wrong name. I put a wrong boyfriend. We had to scratch it out and put a new boyfriend. So I get it. Okay. Luckily, she ended up with someone since I've been 6 years old, and it worked out. But like, this is just not fair, right? Anyway, the point is that she gets real pissed and she storms off the stage. I almost want to see if I can find a clip. Amber storming off stage. It's a very Housewives moment. Hopefully this will they'll allow me on this. This is on the Facebook page of all places. Okay. This is on the Facebook page. Make it bigger.
I think like you realized the commitment you made when you made it. And that's where I don't think you said you were ready. Like, so for me, I think the hardest part was I was very hurt. When you left that day, I was bawling my eyes out crying. But then I had to explain this to Emma, who's bawling her eyes out crying, and I can't cry because she's like, I have to be strong for her. And then so like nights later, she's asking me if we could make a memory box for you so that you'd come back. And like, I'm like having to be the one that's holding back tears and just being strong for my daughter. And it's like, don't fucking come in somebody's life if you're going to do that. I told you.
It came out of nowhere. I have to say, I feel so bad, but it did come out of nowhere a little bit. Like she could have just said it. It was a lot, right? I'm not alone in thinking that felt a little pushed. Don't fucking come out of. It was a lot. She should not. I don't think she's ready for marriage at all. She hates men. And she said that from the very beginning. And she seems to be the girl that's like rallying all the girls. She's a very big girl's girl, which is a wonderful thing. But at the same time, don't go on a show like Love is Blind if you already don't trust any man. If you have such issues with men, it may be something you need to heal within yourself before you start bringing someone else into your life. She doesn't seem healed. She also has zero relationship with her parents, but she doesn't talk about that. And that's a little sus to me. Not to say that you're not allowed to have relationships with your parents. Hello, you know my story, but it's like I talk about it, right? The whole thing was a little weird. Micah's going to fix her. I do think that Jordan was also just a little immature. I don't think he was ready for any of this, but I felt bad for him. I felt like he got the shitty end of the stick there. Okay. Finally, we have Alex and Ashley, that soccer player Alex, who is truly so punchable. I wanted to punch Alex in the face. He's so defensive. Every single thing that they asked him, he was like, when did I do that? I didn't do that. Why are you even saying that? I didn't do that. I haven't lied about any of my stories. Because he's the one with him and Ashley where she was like, I just didn't believe that you were in Austin at this date and you didn't go here and you didn't do that. And he's like, show me the evidence. Show me the evidence. You got nothing. I felt so uncomfortable. I felt like I was back at my parent meeting at school. Like, don't talk to Vanessa and Nick that way. It was so uncomfortable. It really was so awkward. And then we found out that, obviously they said no at the aisle or at the altar. And I think he's just a big ass red flag. Do not date Alex women. He's hot, but his personality completely takes it down. And finally, we have this Devontae Brittany story, which is so weird. So Devontae was the guy with Brittany. I'll try to find you a picture of them. Devontae was the guy with Brittany that literally had absolutely no ability to show affection, love, anything. Okay. He truly did not know how to be loving to her, like at all. So in the episode, in the final episode, we find out that they're not ready to get married, but he's not breaking up with her, even though everyone knew that they were going to break up. She was like she was insanely delulu in the last episode of the show because she said, I just think I'm going to marry him. Like, of course I'm going to marry him. I'm definitely going to marry him. I think that 100% we're getting married. And Devontae's over there in the corner being like, she's annoying me. She like follows me around the house and I just need some time alone. And I just want to be without her and please leave me alone. But he wasn't breaking up with her. And this we find is his biggest problem is that he's scared probably of confrontation and he's scared to say his real feelings. So he just stayed mum the entire show. And then when he wanted to break up with her, he didn't. So he kept her hanging. And apparently he was telling her, no, I still want to be in a relationship with you. And his excuse was, because I want to tell you in person that I want to break up with you. But he was holding on to her. She was walking around with an engagement ring. And she was literally so delulu thinking like, no, we're totally fine. Everything's fine. And meanwhile, we find out that he went on a trip with three of the single girls. Bree's not even single. Hello. Bree with Connor. Of course, Bree. Ashley. And then this other girl, Priyanka, who was in the pods. And the three of them went to Austin again. And they had some sort of like fun night in Austin where they went to go see a concert and had dinner and maybe slept in each other's Airbnb. And it's all a big lie. So he was holding on to her, not breaking up with her, and then like going and partying with some of the other girls in Austin. That man's a loser. And honestly, those girls do not understand girl code because they said, no, he said that you guys were broken up. Maybe check with a girl. I don't know. Pretty bad. Then he said that he's having a baby. Obviously not with Brittany, with some other chick who they don't even live together. I mean, the whole thing is a mess. A mess. And then we wrapped up one of the most cheesy hours of TV with a live performance from some sort of singer. They always do these live performances. It makes me want to die. So uncomfortable. A live performance and some odd gender reveal from another couple, Zach and Bliss, in the audience by the grandma who just died. Like it literally felt like we were watching someone on shrooms put together a reunion show, and they were like, "Figure it out. Like, here's all the elements. Just go." And they were like, "I guess I will." It was an odd show. It was an odd hour, and I loved every second of it. Okay, you guys, I adore you. I love you. Thank you for being here. Everyone feel free to like the show. Please like it, subscribe, all of those things. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll be back for tomorrow's episode, our Friday episode of Daily Dose of Donna. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.